a breathless night, a breathless sporting weekend in Australia, Vossi. AFL Grand Final, NRL. Heck, even the Wallabies won, mate. You guys were treated. What incredible sport you've provided us.
Yeah, giving it to Portugal. Good morning, and to the listener, I'm hoping my voice holds up. I mean, I've just come off 3 hours of radio. I seriously think I've had about 4 hours sleep over the weekend. There is a saying, too much sport is never enough, but I think I may have reached my limit when you throw in the EPL at the moment. Mans Postecoglou with Tottenham, getting up early to watch those games. I went along to the first match of the Sydney Kings, playing the Hawks in the NBL over the weekend as well. Went to that live on Saturday night. So, no, huge weekend of sport. But with my first love, rugby league, couldn't be any prouder of the game today. It was, as a sport, as theatre, as entertainment, it was all of those things. 10 out of 10 last night. 10 out of 10.
Well, both finals. Both finals. I know the headlines are hijacked by the men's final because it's a grand final, as I said to open the show, game none of us are ever going to forget. But the women's final was equally gripping. What a comeback. Yeah,
well, Newcastle, yeah, and the fact that it is back-to-back. I mean, we spoke about, just a few years back until the Roosters did it, we sort of spoke about, winning back-to-back titles. It had become a bit of a holy grail, and now we've had, the Roosters did it, and now Newcastle have done it in the NRLW, and now the Panthers have said, hold my beer, they've taken it to 3 in a row. I've actually already locked in, and I'm really confident in it. I've already locked in Penrith will play Brisbane in next year's grand final. I was saying that last week, that I just looked at where they're at. And that, yes, both clubs have lost players for next year. But I just think on the rapid development of the Broncos, I think they're now entering a good period. And Penrith are in their sweet spot. All those star players, yes, they lose Crichton, they lose Spencer Leniu, but the others are all signed up long-term, from Edwards to Cleary to To'o, Yo, Fisher-Harris, Leota, Liam Martin. I mean, Cleary there, he's 25. I mean, he's going to be at the peak of his powers for the next 5 or 6 years. Penrith might win 6 in a row. Who knows? But I think I've got those two sides ready to go again in next year's grand final. Is that early crow? That certainly is.
Well, it makes a lot of sense to me. You're so right about the stability in that roster. There are some, Crichton's a great player. I can't believe what he's achieved at age 23, scoring in 4 straight grand finals. See, he's a massive loss. He's just such a smart footballer. He always seemingly makes the right decisions. Even those little kicks from behind, a great illustration of that. But you just back them to bounce back. And the age of the Broncos should have their fan base very confident. And I think the neutral, if they're going to get that again, would be happy, Vossi, because the pace of the game through... the first 10 minutes told you everything. You knew something was special was going to happen.
Yeah, I wrote down this morning. So I went on air this morning and said, and we had Mark Carroll on the program, a man who played in 3 grand finals. Spud Carroll said, because we're all having the discussion today, is it the greatest grand final of all time? Now, I need to go back and sit down and watch a replay. I'm not about to make that big, bold statement today. Because I was there in 89 and I was there in 97 and I was there in 2015, extra time Cowboys-Broncos. But what makes a great grand final is moments. And I wrote down, I reckon, 20 moments from last night. You're talking about collisions. That Moses Leota charge at Pat Carrigan, that's a sensational grand final moment. Like, can a bloke run any harder into one of the best defenders in the game and knocks him into another postcode? I mean, that's a super grand final moment. And there was moments like that all the way through the game. Just an amazing night, amazing sport.
Yeah, it really was. I find those greatest of all time debates a bit reductive. Vossi, I know it's very much a modern day trend, and fans love it. So, it's our job to give the fans what they want. If they want to talk about that, that's great. 89 is always going to be my favourite grand final, greatest grand final, because that's when I sort of, really took notice of the sport and thought, what the heck is this? This is amazing.
Yeah, I agree. And I was lucky enough, I was on the sideline in 89, so I've watched it inside the ropes. So it was just so good. And the fact that it goes 100 minutes, there was no golden point back then. You played a full period of extra time. But then during COVID, we had this discussion on air this morning. When we went into lockdown, so we went without the NRL for 5 weeks. On my other employer, Fox League, we were going back recalling old grand finals. And got the chance to do the 97 Grand Final, recall it. Man, it'd be hard to get a better game. Now, there may have been the equal. So right at the moment, I'm sort of taking a fence-sitting position and say I'll give you 89, I'll give you 97, I'll give you 2015, I'll give you last night, all on the same rung of the ladder, if you will. I won't put any of the games above the other, because I know from recalling 97, it was didn't need the finish to be a great game, but it got the finish. 2015 probably didn't need the finish to be a great game, but it got the finish. And last night didn't need the finish to be the great game. Well, yes, it did, because it was 24-8, and we've never seen a bigger comeback. So, they are all different games. Definitely. 1-1 in the last second. 1-1 in Golden Point. 89-1 in 100 minutes of time. And last night with the biggest ever comeback. So, it's just appreciate the sport, the theatre. Heart bleeds for Brisbane, I hope you get another shot at it. I hope for the Broncos, you've got to lose one to win one, rings true for them, because they were good enough to win last night, but didn't. Simple as that.
Well, here's another modern day thinking. Did they choke?
Did they choke? Well, I'm going to say no. Look, the extraordinary, I'm a man of stats. If you take away the Kenny try, bizarre try off the line dropout, back, gets presented with a lottery ticket win. If you told the Broncos before the game, Penrith won't run the ball over your try line until the 63rd minute, and you will have put 24 points on the board against the team that only averages conceding 12 points a game, you would have taken that pre-game. You'd say, well, we're going to win the title. So did they choke? No, it was a case. Look, they could have done things a little better. Okay, I'm not contradicting myself there, but, they could have kicked on the last. They just played out a set. They could have kept the ball in play but conceded a line dropout. But, no, I'd go the other way. The greatness of Cleary in picking that team up, and what a quote from Ivan Cleary. He said, no person knows a player better than a dad knows his son. He said he saw it in Nathan's eye. He saw it in Nathan's eyes that Nathan had missed tackles for those tries, and you could see that switched him on, that I've got to get the team out of this. I've got to find a way. And Nathan Cleary, he did it. He lifted that team, and yes, the likes of Fisher Harris and Moses Leota played their role, but it was Cleary who was the catalyst for the comeback, and he carried it all the way through to the match-winning try and goal.
How on earth do you make one error in a grand final? They made one error, the Panthers.
Yeah, let me tell you, yesterday in Sydney, so it's the hottest grand final on record, hottest grand final day. It was 37 degrees during the day. The kickoff last night was 28-29. Yeah, the game's played, I think I saw the stats for something like 57 minutes ball in play, something like that. So, we had bugger all set restarts through the night, low penalty count. Primarily Adam G put the whistle in the pocket. So, that's energy sapping. Throw in the emotion of it. Throw in, the mental effort and the physical effort. I don't think you've ever seen a grand final where players have run harder. I'll make that statement. Jesse Arthurs, how good was he?
Brilliant.
The Warriors, he was Herbie Farnworth. Does Herbie Farnworth know he's not 120K? Like seriously. And so to do what they did, so Penrith to do what they did and still not come up with errors at the end of the game, you got not only a team of champions, you have a champion team. That's a pretty hard blend to beat, isn't it? A pretty hard blend to beat.
I must admit, it seems a long way down the road to the start of the new season. We can't wait for it. But we've got some international footy to look forward to first. Tri Nations, right? Kiwis, Kangaroos. Bye-bye, England. Come on down, Samoa.
Yeah, no, good look. And that's probably a bittersweet moment out of last night. Seeing Jerome Luai after the game, I want him to play for Samoa. Jerome was so good at the World Cup last year. He was Nathan Cleary-like in helping Samoa to the World Cup final. I watched that firsthand at the World Cup. So I'm desperate for Jerome to be right for these postseason matches, but I'd have to think that's very doubtful at the moment. But yes, international footy. I hope that we're still riding this wave. We get a week off. Now, in that week off, we can watch the Super League finals end. So, they're still at the pointy end of their season. So, yes, rugby league continues through to the first week of November. I've long been a supporter of a 51-week season. I believe we only need 1 week off for Christmas shopping, and then straight back into it. And next year we kick off in Vegas, the first of 5 years where we're going to open our season in Vegas. Maybe not the teams, the Broncos will be there, but the fact that South Sydney and Manly, 2 teams that didn't make the 8, are over in Vegas, well, will it matter? No, it'll be a great event. But I would have loved to have seen a grand final rematch in Vegas, to be honest. I'd love that to be the first game of the year, and in Vegas. Panthers v Broncos, that would have been a hell of a way to start the year. But anyway, you're right. Rugby league is the winner. I'll say that. Rugby league is the winner today. How does that sound? Ever heard that saying before?
Yeah, I love it. Vossi, I'll get you out on this. Is it Vossi in Vegas? Are you going to Vegas?
Oh, look. If they said you can go to Vegas, but you got to walk and swim, I'd say sweet, and I'd find a way. So I'm all in, baby. I am all in, and I'm happy to be the advance party to go over there and promote the code for a month beforehand. I'll go in someone's suitcase if I have to. I'll be a stowaway on a boat. I'd be desperate to go there to be part of that. I've actually called rugby league in America. I called a game in Jacksonville back in 2008, Leeds versus the Rabbitohs, an Australia Day challenge, and that was an experience. But this would be next level. So yeah, I'd love to be part of that history. But as you say, test matches in between. I'm looking forward to them as much as I am that. I love the test football, and I think it'll be a very, very competitive series. And bring it on.
Vossi, thanks so much, mate. I know you're almost out of breath, out of voice. Thanks for taking the time, as you always do, to join us. Go enjoy a well-earned, 20-hour break before you're back on air.
Yeah, well, no, we've taken that many calls today, pre-match entertainment, all the stuff. Yes, the Wallabies won and all of that. No, we're very lucky, folks listening right now. We blokes on the radio, we do hours, but we could never call it work. It's just an absolute joy to engage with listeners and fellow sports fans and talk sport. We're very lucky people.
SENZ. It's Kiwi for Sport.